Good morning. Good to see you again. My name is Elsa Paul. I'm a wife, mom, foster mom, and we have a baby with the Gtube, so I just thought I'd take you along on our morning Gtube care routine, and I also have to change the button out today, so you'll get to see that as well. So I'm not going to waste your time. Subscribe, comment below. I love seeing those comments, and let's get right to it.
We start the morning off with everybody starving, so I mix up some formula. I usually do about 3 or 4 feeds worth of milk at a time, just so it saves time and I'm not doing this like 6 times a day. We use the Hip Organic goat milk formula and we love it. I could not say enough good things about this formula and all of the good it has done for him since he's been on it. We also use the Infinity pump, and every morning he gets a fresh bag. So I pour some milk in the bag and then I try to get as much air out as I can and seal it off. Sometimes these threads are really difficult and I end up messing with it for quite some time before I get it. And then I open up the pump door and I load what's called the cassette, which is this little wiggly piece. You just load this little tube around the black thing and I pull it and it snaps down into place. Shut the door. I'm cleaning off my pump because I don't know why, but it just gets so nasty. Turn the pump on, and now what I need to do is prime all of this tubing. So since this is the morning and I've just opened a new bag, I need to get milk all the way through this tube or else all this air would be going into his belly. So I'm hitting the prime button and I stand here for like 3 minutes while it painfully and slowly makes its way to the end of the tube. Once I see it come all the way to the edge, I stop and I cap it. He's not being fed quite yet, so I'm just adjusting the dose for the day and I'm going to turn the pump off. Next, I need to clean what's called his extension set, but we call it his pigtail just because it's a little easier to say. I have some hot soapy water here and I'm just going to put some of this in a syringe, and then I'm going to bring it over to the sink, unscrew it, screw in my syringe. This is a screw lock system that we're using, and I'm going to unclamp it, and then I push the syringe down as fast and as hard as I can to try to get a really good clean. His bags get changed every day, but the extension set doesn't, so I end up doing this a couple of times a day just because we really have to keep it clean. I also run some water through it to get all the soapy water out, and then I wasn't able to film it, but I run some like drinking water through it at the very end and clamp it because that's what's going to go in his belly. There's 2 ports on our extension set. One is for medication, which we don't really use, and then this one we use for the feed. So this is just the primary port we use. I screw lock it in, and then there's 2 lines, one on the extension set and one on his button. I line up the 2 lines and then it snaps right in. I twist it to lock. I guess he's gonna hold it for me today, and then I unclamp it. I wouldn't want to unclamp it before I did all that because then just everything would gush out. The clamp kind of helps with pressure. So I hit run now that I have the rate and the dose all set and it's going, and then I can see where he's at in the feed by hitting the volume. So he's just gonna sit here and eat for a little bit. I usually tuck his shirt down, or if he has like snaps, I'll snap him up, just trying to keep it a little bit more out of the way. He does grab at it and play with it, and he's pretty gentle, but I try to just distract him and at least give him something else to play with. Once the feed is done, I clamp the extension set and I unscrew it and I do what's called a flush. So inside this syringe I actually have pure water, and I'm going to screw it in and unclamp it again so that things can flow, and then I'm pushing the rest of the feed through to his belly. This is just to also help keep the extension set clean. And I clamp it again, and then I re-hook up the pump so that it's ready to go for the next feed. And usually we'll unhook him in between feeds, even though the pump is keeping track of the feeds. That way the cord's just not all in our way, dangling, more risk of it being pulled out. Here's what the pump looks like in between doses, it just kind of counts down. So today is an abnormal day, and we actually are going to be changing out his button today. I do this every 3 months, and today just happens to be the day that we're going to do that, so I'm going to film it. This is what the button looks like. A cross section, there's a little balloon that sits in his stomach to keep it from getting pulled out, and I'm just testing it to make sure that nothing is wrong with it. I am going to get out the water in the balloon that's in him right now, so I'm just using a syringe to do that, and I'm double checking to make sure I definitely have all of the water out, and then I'm just gonna pop the button out. It comes right out. A little bit of formula came with it, and then popping the new button right back in. And then I'm filling up that balloon. I'm using 3 mils to inflate the balloon. I just screw it off. I'm also going to check the placement of it. I'm using this syringe and this, I don't know, pigtail extension set just to make sure that it's in the right spot. And it is. Here's the gross, yucky one. And I'm going to clean them all up because a little bit of formula came out. And that's it.